Hey guys, okay, so sometimes walking away from your problem is the best solution ever. Now, I know sometimes they say don't walk away from your problems, sit there and deal with them and try to resolve them. Yes, some situations you have to sit there and deal with them and resolve them somehow in order for you to get peace, and the other person to be at peace, or whatever you want to call their reason for them having you sit there and resolve anything. Um, but I don't necessarily like to hear that for all cases. The reason why I say that is because sometimes you can't even explain your situation to anybody. You literally have to be there for a little while and then you have to leave. The reason for that being is because your time is just as valuable as the next person, if their time is valuable at all. Some people don't understand the concepts of having a peaceful life and leaving situations that aren't good for them. Some people have toxic environments, and you cannot sit there and explain yourself to someone of what is safe and what's not safe if they don't already see the bigger picture from the jump. That is crucial. And I had this time where, like I told you guys before in my other video, I talked about me having I can't remember the title about what I was discussing, um, but I think I'm gonna cover that later on. But I might cover it right now. But anyway, yeah. So I had an issue with a staff member at a church slash shelter. It's called a WE shelter, a winter emergency shelter, that we have here in North Carolina. And it's some WE shelters, emergency shelters out there in other places. But I had an issue with one of the staff members there because he didn't have this good spirit about him. Um, he didn't show any type of um, good vibe that he had within him. So I mean, and I know you guys are so sick and tired of hearing the word vibe or whatever, but it really was not a good vibe. Not from the jump. He didn't have it. He was the type that smoked, um, and smoked cigarettes, dressed like a thug, and still working inside of a church. Like it was that type of environment. Like he had that type of demeanor, and I really did not like that at all. But what really got to me, and I'm sorry, you guys, the sun is in my eye. I mean, there's some shade that's kind of blocking me, um, my view here. I might need to sit on top of something. Okay. So, so what it was that, like, I didn't pick up any type of good type of spiritual vibe about this person, and it really rung some alarms because I was like, okay, am I going to even feel comfortable sleeping under the same roof as this person? He's on a night shift. He's going to be watching the people that's there. I don't want him to be over top of me walking around while I'm sleeping or anything like that. So I'm just letting you guys know that. I'm letting myself know that. And I didn't feel comfortable at all being around anyone like that. So he kept on pickpocketing me. And when I mean pickpocketing me, I mean he kept on like picking at me and things like that, saying, like when I first came there, I got registered inside of a shelter first, inside of the regular shelter. I got registered inside a regular shelter, and they told me, they said, well, you're going to be going over next door to the WE shelter, and it's a small church, and you'll like it over there because there's not that many people. So I was like, okay. So then I went over there to the shelter, and I got registered. Um, no, I got registered at the shelter where I was residing at when they told me that I would be over there and I need to sign in at 6 o'clock that night. So I went, by 8 o'clock that night. But he told me to go over there to eat dinner. So I went over there to eat dinner when 6 o'clock got there. But I did not eat dinner. I went to eat dinner, but he told me that they would not be serving dinner there because um, there was a guy. Well, put it this way. After I left the shelter, I went over there to the wheat shelter because he said be there by 6 o'clock to eat dinner. Okay, so I got there by 6 o'clock, and when I first got there, nobody was there. So I was actually just like there probably 15 minutes early. So I was there on my bike and I waited in the front where the door in the front entrance part is, and the guy came up and he was like, oh no, I was actually on time. The guy was just late coming in there. The just like a thug and then whatever and whatnot, smoke cigarettes and whatnot, just horrible. So I came there and I said, excuse me, sir, where would I be able to chain my bike at? Cause I didn't see a bike rack or anything, and I didn't see nowhere where I could lock my bike up at while I was at the facility. So he was like, when I open up the gate, there's a bike rack back there, and then. But before he said that, he kind of gave me a look like who am I? What are you doing here? Like it was that type of look, and same type of look with the guy, Hispanic guy at McDonald's, who I did not actually get along with. So it was kind of. So after he actually said that, I actually just went ahead and said, I'm going to be sleeping here tonight. The people from the shelter told me that I'm going to be coming here. He said, okay, well, when I open up the gate, I'll let you chain it up in the back. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, damn, why you ain't just ask me a little bit more details about myself before I, But anyway, I was going to do that regardless, but still, his demeanor just wasn't there. He wasn't a people person, so why are you still, But anyway, I'm trying to figure out why in the world he was still operating in through a church if he was not a people person. I mean, but he looks like he smokes dope or does some type of drugs. You can tell by the hat he wears, the baggy clothes he wears, and this, that, and the third. You can tell he has that type of demeanor. Anyways, so I end up going inside and I seen some tables in the back after I locked my bike up. Well, while I was locking up my bicycle, I put my bike in the back where a fence was, and then I was like, this is way too far from the actual door, and I need my bike to be chained near the door. So I took my bicycle closer to the back door, and he was like, you can put it anywhere around here that you want. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, is this okay? He was like, what? I was like, whoa. I said, is this okay? He was like, oh yeah, you can put it right there. I'm like, damn. So why are you so hostile? So that's how I could tell that he was not a people person from the jump. So it got back to me, my senses, the universe came back to me and gave me some insights about what type of person I was actually up against. So when I went inside, I had a seat and I was just like ready to get something to eat, and then he was like, well, we won't be serving any dinner here, and you're gonna have to go over there to no, he didn't say that. He was just like, you're gonna have to go over to the urban ministry and eat because while they're serving dinner, because we're not gonna have any dinner right here. And I'm like, okay. No, actually he did not say that. What he said was, you're gonna have to go over there to the shelter and eat and then come on back over here. And then I was like, oh, well, the staff member from the shelter told me to come over here and have dinner, and on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and then on Mondays and Fridays, then I can come over here, I can go over there and eat at the shelter. And then he was like, I understand that, but the school that comes here are on spring break and they're not going to be here to serve dinner, so you're going to have to go over there. See, why didn't you just say that from the jump? You're not even a people person, you're not professional, and why are you here operating any type of services outside of a church? Seriously. So, and of course I said that in my head. So eventually, I got my stuff. He had a smirk on his face like he was waiting to just like do that to catch me off guard, to make me feel like some type of way. Like some people are just like that. And unfortunately my senses was right. The universe responded back to me. Some people don't like to say God, but I like to say God. Okay, because he's created all things, but the universe is responding back to me. That's my little new That's my new thing. I'm going to stop saying about God so much because God is God regardless, and the universe is affecting people's spirits and the way things are happening because it's just the universe. The universe is very powerful and secretive and informative, so I really like that. Um, what I was getting ready to say was, so I went over there to the weed shelter, and I came back after we had our dinner, and I waited in there, and I came back and I sat down at the table, and then I seen people starting to put up the beds and stuff because we have a little cots that you like army cots to sleep on while we're there in the church. And so I started putting down my cot, and then he came in there with an attitude, and he was like, "What are you doing putting down the cot? I didn't tell y'all to put down cots down. We got to put the tables back. We got to put the tables up. Y'all know these rules." I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm new here. I do not know. You did not lay down the rules yet. You're supposed to do that. You're staff. Why didn't you issue me the rules from the jump when I first got in here instead of trying to not service me and do what you wanted to do? Because you clearly don't even come to work for no more than 5 hours a day. So why don't you find the time to find yourself proactive enough to actually do something to benefit your own job and the people that you work for? Bottom line. So what really got to me was that I eventually end up putting down, put up my cart back in the bathroom, whatever. And it got to me because I said, okay, this guy just literally talked to me like I was an animal, like I didn't have any feelings at all. It was clearly recognizable that this guy was 100% in the wrong because he was too lazy to do his job. So I was really, really upset about that. But I was really upset because of the attitude that he gave me, which, he was too old to be having that type of attitude. And you are inside of a church, and not only that, if I have showed you respect, then you should have showed me 100% respect back also. So instead of getting an attitude, I was just like, okay. I put my card back up and put it in there, and then he was like, "We gotta do your intake." He said, "Put that card up, man." I'm sitting up here like, he said it just like that. He was like, "Put that card up, man," and I'm sitting up here like, are you freaking serious right now? This is how you talk to people? I just got in here. You didn't even do your job by laying down the rules. So why are you being in like the way that you are? So I put my card up, and then I went over there and did my intake, which he should have done from the jump when he first seen me, um, which he didn't. He was late doing it. So we went there and did my intake, and then he was just like laying down some rules and stuff like that. And I'm like, this guy is like an asshole. So then he was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know now. There has been some issues in here with fighting, and and we're not going to tolerate any fighting on the premises. We're going to have to ask you to leave. And I was like, well, what type of fighting situations are you talking about? He was like, well, just little flare-ups and stuff like that. I said, well, I'm pretty sure you gotten rid of all the fighters and the people who started the flare-out and all the problem makers. So he looked at me and he was like, yeah, we got rid of the problem makers. Yeah, I handled that. Yeah. I said, okay, so it wasn't no need for you to, say what you just said. So eventually, he just didn't like the fact that I was intelligent enough and I was able to stop him in his tracks and collect his information and diffuse the tension because that's what it was causing. But really, in reality, yes, there are some flares and tensions that goes on within there, but he is the main person that causes those flares and tensions because everyone can literally be responsible for their own self. And if you've gotten rid of all the problem makers, then what are you doing? So anyway, so then I did my intake and I got finished, and eventually it just made me like suspicious because there's a surveillance camera in there, and when I came into the room for my intake, there's a huge flat screen TV, and it does not work, but you have the camera connected to a cell phone. That raised a red flag for me because this is a church having people from the shelter come over. You don't have your TV fixed enough for you to see what's going on in there, and you have it on a cell phone, which you can easily like erase some information. Then people got stuff stolen while they were in there, but yet nobody wanted to report it or nobody wanted to seek justice because it's on a surveillance camera. So why would you not want to seek justice like that? You should know who's stealing people's jackets and things like that in bins and containers. So that was another red flag, okay? Um, then one day, and then okay, so there was another rule. He was saying that everyone has to take part in cleaning in there, which is okay, of course, that's no big deal. So I took a part of my cleaning, and it got to me because the room is literally the size of a bedroom, a master bedroom. 12 guys in the master bedroom. It is so small. It's a really tiny church, like inside of a it's like a oh my gosh, this room is so small it's not even funny. So I don't see how they fit 12 guys in there, but it's like a New York City living room apartment that's really tiny, that they're paying $1,300, $1,200, $2,200 for a month, like that type of small. So the kitchen and the bathroom and everything is in this small tiny room. It's like a college dorm, but just like 2 sizes bigger, but it's really small for 12 guys. So it's a sink and a big refrigerator and trash can in the bathroom right there, all in one room. And it got to me because everybody was cleaning up behind themselves, so it really wasn't that much to clean in there. Everybody knows what to clean. We all can see what needs to be swept up or mopped or wiped down. So he was like, I'm gonna have you mop, and I'm gonna have. Well, actually, he was like, some people just volunteered to sweep. Some people just volunteered to mop because it was just there. I mean, we can all see that what needs to be swept and mopped or clean. So, we wake up in the mornings and we put our cots up and stuff like that. We put our stuff back in the bin. We lock them up. We put them in the corner. We sweep. We mop. We wipe down stuff. We put the tables and chairs back up and replace them back because people use that time to eat because it's basically a kitchen, but we use that spot to take the kitchen stuff out, and we end up just sleeping in there. So that was no big deal. It's all easy, simple stuff. We're all grown. We all know what needs to be cleaned and things like that. So that ended up happening, and it's almost like, okay, so when I wake up, I immediately clean my things up, which is I don't eat in there. I might have a banana, that's it. But that was in the trash can the night before. Other than that, cooking and stuff like that, like some of the drug addicts do, they do all that coffee, putting sugar, and doing all that extra stuff. I'm not there to do all that eating stuff. I'm there to sleep and leave. That's it. Get on the Wi-Fi, upload my YouTube videos, and that's it. But then I'm just there in my own little space doing me. I'm not talking, chit-chatting, music in my ears, blah, blah, blah. I block out, the people who are not on my same level. So it's almost like, so he came in there and he was like, well, when I come in here, I see you standing around and I want you to take the initiative to clean. And I'm looking at him like, clean what? Everybody cleans up after themselves. We all see what needs to be cleaned. We all clean up. What are you talking about? You don't need to come to me and tell me to clean anything when I clean every time I'm in here. Like, I follow the rules. When you say, Chris, would you mind mopping? He said, Chris, he don't even say mind. He just say, Chris, I'm going to have you mop this. He's trying to be funny and start me to flare up because of his attitude, and I see what's going on, but I don't do it, okay? So the thing is that I end up saying yes, I mop, so I mop the floor, or, I don't even get a chance to sweep because somebody out and grab the broom. It's a small room. It's easy. Okay. I don't even cook in there. So all I'm doing is putting my army coat up, putting it back in the bathroom where everyone else is, taking my blanket, my comforter, my cover, my sheet, put it in my bin, put it up like everybody else. And then what else? That's it. And then if they need anything else, I wouldn't mind helping. But it's a 12-guy room It's a kitchen, a small kitchen in the back of a church, a very small kitchen the size of a dorm room, and we all can see each other. So it's almost like we all know what to do. Some people are slower than others, and they're too old, and they can't do this and that and the third, and blah blah blah. And some can, they just choose to use their disability not to do stuff, and that's all baloney. But anyway, he called himself pinpointing me out just to get on me like that because he did not want to see how happy and joyful I was. You know, he didn't want to see that part. He wanted me to get flared up and overreact so he can have something to say. And he's the reason why people are calling tensions and stuff like that extrally, because people can cause their own tension, but he's aiding it even more. So I really don't like that. The other thing is, I told him straight up, I said, whenever you ask me to clean something, what do I say? Yeah, okay, I'll go clean it. I always say that. So, what? I mean, why even come over here like that and tell me I'm standing around? Of course, I'm gonna sit here and stand because my job is done. You see him clean behind his mess and him clean behind his mess and everybody helping. What is your point for even coming to me and trying to get me to do something that I'm already doing? Well, his type of spirit and his lifestyle. So that really got after me. It really, really bothered me a lot to see him do that. I got really hurt. Hold up. I got really, really annoyed and agitated, and I don't like that man whatsoever. And I think I think my paper flew away, but that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm looking for my other paper. Okay, so whenever I went, so yes, that's what I meant to say. So sometimes walking away from your problem isn't always a good thing, but in this case, it is, because I'm not explaining to somebody something that I can see what they're trying to do on purpose to get me to overreact. And when I went back to the shelter, I told the other guy, I was like, I didn't have to tell him anything, but I just told him, I said, he asked me, how was I, coming along, and I was like, I don't see how y'all deal with that guy in there. I said, me and him don't get along, so I won't be going back to that the weed shelter. And so he was like, well, you're gonna have to do this. Don't run from a fight. Sit there and deal with it. And I'm looking at him like, dude, you have been in prison all your life for shooting someone and robbing them at a bank, okay? Because they didn't put the money in the bag. Okay, you've been in prison for robbing another person, another bank, and shooting a woman in regards of all of that. You can't tell me anything, okay? Because you don't have anywhere to go, and you can't get a job anywhere, and I shouldn't be seeking any type of advice from you. So I told him straight up. I said, no, by me leaving the situation and me disappearing, I am fighting. That is fighting, because I know what I'm capable of doing to people that's like that. So because I'm already not the type of person that will harm another person, that is me fighting by leaving, because I'm not going to have my presence in the presence of someone else who is corrupt like that with a bad spirit.